Hey, what's going on, guys? Mark Luckenball with Local Client Takeover here. Today I want to talk about press releases for SEO, everything you need to know. And I know sometimes that can hold a negative connotation, like when the teacher rolled the TV in the classroom and you're like, you got excited, then it's like everything you need to know about the ecosystem of the swamp. And unless you're into the swamp's ecosystem, in that case, awesome. But I'm going to try to make this as upbeat as possible so you guys don't get bored, but this is everything you want or need to know about press releases to improve your SEO campaigns. So I'm going to answer questions like, yay, I thought these weren't safe for to use for SEO anymore. What anchor text do I use? Mark, how exactly do you use press releases in your SEO strategy? Then I want to talk more about ranking a press release, like an individual, like a parasite situation. So let's just get down to it one after another. I want to keep this video under 7 minutes if at all possible. So I thought these were safe to use for SEO anymore. That's a big misconception, and it probably came with the introduction of Panda a few years ago, where Google was really trying to test how they were going to view and handle duplicate content issues. And long story short, through Google's new algos and their new machine learning, your press release is not going to hurt you as far as having an article syndicated over a few hundred sites with a link back to your site. Google's way beyond that. Press releases rock, and I'll tell you in the next couple questions how we use them and why they rock for us. So what people did, I think, to really screw themselves over and why press releases got such a negative connotation in the realm of SEO is because of this next question: what anchor text do I use? And of course, if people are using their money anchor texts, or I should say their money keywords in the form of anchor texts across a few hundred syndicated news sites, it's going to give you a terrible looking over optimized backlink profile, and you're probably going to hit a penguin filter. It's how the ball bounces. So the anchor texts I like to use are branded anchor texts, or URL only. And just to kind of expand on that a little bit more, most press releases, like our press release service we're offering, LCT, is we allow three hyperlinks per press release. So a lot of people take that opportunity to put three different links. They might link to their home page and then two inner pages, or something along those lines, and there's nothing really wrong with that. But to me, that starts to look really unnatural. Why a legitimate news article would link to one site three different times, three different pages. So I like to actually take advantage of the situation to try to, I don't want to say manipulate Google's semantic engine, but just kind of give it a nudge. And I like to insert authoritative outbound links to niche relevant sites. So if we were doing a press release for a roofer client, some type of construction industry, doesn't really matter, we might take that opportunity to put a link out to a home advisor and maybe another one to like This Old House or something. So Google's going to see that syndicated a few hundred times, your clients link with these authoritative links. They're going to say, wow, people are discussing this property with these properties. Maybe they're semantically similar. Maybe we should incorporate that into our semantic engine. So I like to take the opportunity to do that. And you're not going to move mountains with a simple press release with that strategy. But if you have a consistent strategy to appease the brand algos Google has in place, that can definitely be a key component along with a few other tools. So Mark, how exactly do you use press releases in your SEO strategy? I thought you guys would never ask. Okay, sorry, I don't want to get too wild here, but basically I use them for two different things. We use them for backlink diversity as far as platform diversity. So I don't want a client site or a personal lead gen site or whatever where the only links back seem to be contextual blog posts, because I don't want it to be anything. I don't want it to be only videos. I don't want it to be only social links or blog comments or forum profile links. I want a nice mixture to keep it natural looking, and there's no better way, faster way, easier way to get 100, 200 authoritative websites sites to get, with a backlink to your money site in the form of like a branded URL, which brings me to the next point. I like to use them, to dilute anchor text. They work really well if you pick up a client who, their last agency over optimized them a bit, or they did it themselves, or if you get a little crazy with anchor text, if you weren't tracking your anchor text, um, in a disciplined manner, and you got a little crazy, you need to dilute the anchor text profile a bit. It's no, like I said, guys, press release is just an awesome way to get hundreds of branded or URL links on authoritative properties for your site. So it's really good stuff, and that's exactly how we use them. That's our main use for press releases for clients. I want to talk just a second about ranking press releases. Now, I know a lot of people have, there's been a buzz in the community about, using them as a consistent traffic generation tool, or using them for long-term sustainable rankings. And for people achieving that, that's phenomenal. That's great. For us, it's not really a strategy we like to pursue, and I'll show you guys why real quick if we jump over to my screen. So when you do a press release, as you can see right here for the Pittsburgh Steelers query, you're going to get an in the news section. Now, this doesn't always pop up for every query, but in local search, you're going to see this happen more often than not, where if you run a press release for a local client and you start Googling different queries pertaining to those clients' keywords, you'll start to see and in the news section pop up, and more times than not it happens very quick, and it will jump up there, and it can be right here at the top. Sometimes it's down here like where these images are, but this shows that it's super relevant, breaking news story. Google's providing you what it thinks is an awesome result for that query because there's this recent news around it, and that'll stick there. Sometimes they stick for a few days, sometimes they can stick for a week or better. But then what eventually happens, and if you want, I mean, you can always go the route of building authoritative tier 1 links to it and trying to convince Google that it's really like one of the best results on their front page, and they might leave it there longer. Like I said, we don't even test it a lot just because we know, if you Google Locksmith York, PA, here's a press release that was ran. Now this was ran back in April, so I didn't have a more recent example I was comfortable using, but as you can see, it's already back on page 3. So they have the potential to rank fast, but they also have the potential to drop fast, and they most likely will. So that's something to prepare yourself for if you really have plans to use this for a ranking strategy. It can be used for something quick, and we'll get into another way to use these for your clients where it makes you look like a rock star in another video. But if you're trying to do some quick ORM solution where your dental client Dr. Spock needs some ORM, and you can run one of these for Dr. Spock, as long as you have the Dr. Spock in the article somewhere, you can rank them, and it's good for a quick solution while you're getting your other parasites optimized and ranking. But as far as anything long term, whether it's for an ORM situation or just trying to garner additional traffic through search, it's not a strategy we use, and that's why. So if you want to try to play with these as parasites, you need to understand that Google's constantly improving its machine learning, and it understands that when news happens, in 6 months it's old news, it's no news, and it's like it never happened. They're not going to keep displaying it. They're less likely, I should say, to keep displaying it. Same thing goes, and that's a severe case. I mean, a lot of times they'll drop off in a week, they'll drop off in a few days, they'll drop off in a month. Even with you actively trying to rank it, I've seen people test that and it's still dropped pretty rapidly just because Google's devaluing it. Google understands it was news at one point, and it's probably not the best search result to keep displaying for that certain query. So that's basically it, guys. Key takeaways real fast. I'm about 2.5 minutes over my time I wanted, But key takeaways is, yeah, they're safe for SEO if you use them intelligently. If you guys use them like we're suggesting, and you follow this guide, you're gonna have pretty decent success with press releases. Okay, use only branded and URL anchor text for your anchor text. You don't want to go crazy here, guys. It's a really quick way to get your site caught in a filter or just straight penalized. I use them as an opportunity to fill in my site's anchor text and increase link platform diversity through the use of authoritative news sites. Like I said, guys, there's very few things you can do just to get a ton of authoritative backlinks, branded links this quick, especially for the prices we're specifically charging. I mean, there's no better way. And then I would suggest ranking a press release as a short-term, as a short-term solution for traffic or reputation if you're going to do it at all. Do not go in and create a massive digital marketing campaign based off of ranking a ton of press releases. And if you do get good at that, that's perfect. But you're one in a million because press releases suck for sustainable rankings. That's what we found. And there, if there are people using them in a way that disputes that, that's awesome for them. That's awesome for them, but it's definitely a pain in the neck, and there's just better ways to use the stuff. So thanks for watching, guys.